Hello friends, my name is Shilpa Kakkar. Today I am going to teach how to interpret chart. In this session of chart interpretation, we will see how to write down the data in words, the graphic representation into word interpretation. What is chart interpretation? Chart interpretation means understanding and explaining a sheet of information in the form of a table, graph, or diagram in simple language. That is, graphs and chart are visual presentation of data in the form of points, lines, bars, and pie chart. What to look for data interpretation? To interpret a graph or chart, read the following things. The title. A book always have a title. An article always have a title. Report has a title. So, title is the most important thing. Always look for the title. It tells about what the chart is about. Afterwards, look at the key. Keys are there to specify the things. Read the labels to clarify your vision. When you read the labels, it will give you the clear distinction of the chart. Then study the graph to understand what it shows. So all these things are very important while interpreting a chart. When we interpret, we have to first write down the title of the graph. When a pie chart or a graph is written in words, first thing we have to do is to name it. That is called as heading or the title. So it is the most important thing. This is a cluster column chart. In this, you can see how the things are given in the graph. We have to see the key, the label, heading. All these things are very important. So, this is one of the examples of chart. Another example is histogram. Histogram is another type of chart. Like histogram, cluster column, we have line graph, we have map graph. It tells about the different things. So there are a number of graphs. Another one is pie chart. Let us see how the pie chart is. This is pie chart. Pie chart is a circular graph divided into slices. Usually, a pie chart is shown in percentage. So, sometimes we see that there is a comparison. So, when comparative pie chart is there, then we see there are more than one pie charts. So, the comparison could be done between the two. Things we have to keep in mind while writing down the chart interpretation. The first task is the structure. When we see the pie chart or any other chart, we see the title. So first of all, we are going to give it a title. Then comes the part of introduction. When we introduce, we should introduce in short. Introductory paragraph should not be lengthy. Then next thing is the overview of the chart. We have to write down the list of the general trends. It should not be in detail. It should not be numbered. You have to write down only the overview of the chart. Then comes the features. A chart can be interpreted into points or in paragraphs. But again, we have to keep in mind, while writing down the paragraphs, we do not have to write down long, lengthy paragraphs. Paragraphs should be coherent and clear. So, at the max, we can write down 2 paragraphs. So, introduction, overview of the chart, then either in the points or in the paragraphs, we have to describe what the chart is about. Describing a chart means summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. When you summarize the information, that is, in short, you have to write down what the chart is about, what information it is giving to us. Then we are reporting it, that is what we are writing it, the main things which we are going to note down. As I have told you before, that there are sometimes 2 pie charts, 2 graphs. So at that time, we have to write down the comparison between the 2. So if 2 charts are there, then we have to write down the comparisons wherever it is relevant. In the introductory paragraph, we have to give the information. The introductory paragraph is information about the percentages of a specific things. In order to avoid monotonousness, we have to use the different words to express ourselves. Use diverse expressions. Sometimes you may use shows. Sometimes you may use provides information about. You can use at the time of examples, illustrates, represents. This gives tinge to your expression. Introduction should be clear and time specific. Write down the names in the introduction and do not forget, if it is given, then the time period of the chart. While writing down overview after introduction, it should be written briefly. You have to describe the major trends on your chart. It should have 2 to 4 key features, but never write numbers, percentage, or dates in overview paragraph. Remember, an overview paragraph should contain general information. All the details are written in the features. So, overview should not contain all these things. It is only the gist of the chart. Now comes the turn of key features. When we are describing a chart, when we study a chart, we study it fully. We see the bigger slices, the bigger histogram bars, the bigger lines. In pie chart, we have slices. I have taken the example of slices over here. So we search for bigger and the smaller slices. Find which slices become bigger, smaller, or did not change when the comparative study is going on. But remember, don't write both of them because you have to keep it short. So while writing down the interpretation, at that time, see which one stands the bigger one and which one is the smallest one. Then go for the comparison. That will make it interesting and clear also. So be careful while writing down the features. In order to be precise, we have to learn how to write down. Do not use long paraphrase. It is better to use diverse expressions. How, overall, while, in compared to. So these are the different words which gives some change to your writing, and you will not be sounded monotonous. In features, write specific years and numbers to describe. Never write all the specific details in one large paragraph. It's better to write down in points, or it should be divided into two small paragraphs. In this pie chart, I have taken the example of expenditure of family. As I have talked to you about the slices, we have to look for the bigger slice and the smallest, and then we have to do the comparison. Here, the smallest size says that the family has expended, or the expenditure on fuel is just 9% of the income. Total expenditure which the family has done, it has done maximum in food. Next thing, when we are going to write down, we'll talk about each slice one after the other. Then we can take about the education. With education, we will compare with clothes. The things, the money which the family has spent on education and clothes. The comparison would be done on that. Then the other things, like for example, your rent is given. So we'll talk about it. So we will give overview of the chart first, and then in the features we are going to talk about its percentage. Let us see another example. Let us see the example. From this example, we learn how to write down the chart interpretation. First of all, the title. We are going to write down the title, Contribution to the Economy of India. Then comes the introduction. Here we will write that there are various sectors which are contributing to the economy of India. Let us see which are those. It becomes our introduction. Then we'll talk about the overview. Overview, in this we are going to just see, write down what are the different sectors. So in overview we'll write down, let us see how the different sectors contribute to the economy of India. There are various sectors: agriculture, government, construction, leisure and hospitality, manufacturing, trade, utilities and transportation, healthcare, and education. So these are the various sectors which are contributing to the economy. Now comes the turn of features. Now it depends on the writer. A writer may write down in points or may adopt paragraph wise. But it is better not to write down long paraphrases. You have to write down in short. So, as we have discussed earlier, we'll look for the biggest slides and then for the smallest slice, then the contribution and the comparison between the two. So, we'll write down in detail how much agriculture sector has contributed as compared to the construction sector. There is difference between it, the huge difference between the two. So it will be helpful and it will highlight and will allow us to explain in a better way. One after the other, we'll take up the contribution of different sectors and explain. This is how the chart interpretation is done. I hope, friends, this chart interpretation session help you to interpret charts in a better way. I hope it becomes helpful to you. Thank you.